There they are, ladies and gentlemen, the stare down and a few words exchanged.
I haven't seen.
You gonna see Saturday,
bro?
Saturday
even
night.
the little clips on the what is called that we just had, the gloves off. What the was you throwing?
Hey, you know what?
Gervonta Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponent.
Gervonta Davis shocked the crowd when he slapped Lamont Roach during a fiery face-off. The clash quickly intensified as Davis declared he would destroy Roach in their upcoming fight. The atmosphere turned electric as both men stood their ground. This heated exchange has raised the stakes in their rivalry and built anticipation for what could be one of the fiercest and most personal battles of the year. Gervonta Davis has entered a new level of focus both mentally and physically. Once again working under the guidance of his longtime coach Calvin Ford, he is training with calm determination. This camp feels very different from the last one when the Washington, D.C. team had a larger role. Now the setup is smaller, more controlled, and fully locked in, leaving no chance for game plans to leak. In the first fight, there were rumors that Roach had inside knowledge of Davis's strategy. But this time, every distraction has been removed and every detail is being sharpened. With Ford by his side and his mind set on redemption, Davis's preparation points to a showdown far bigger and more meaningful than their first meeting.
He's 100% correct. Personally, I had Gervonta Davis up a round, because whenever you have rounds where nobody's doing anything, I'm not just going to do what most people do, and especially people that don't like Gervonta Davis, which is just give the round to the other guy because Gervonta Davis didn't manage to knock him out that round. Okay, so this is Gary Russell Jr. clearly saying, man, no, I don't think Lamont Roach won that fight. You also had Al Bernstein, and Al Bernstein, I'm telling you, is a very, very straight, fair guy. Who I don't know if he was on that call, but he used to work with Showtime. I don't know if he was on there. I don't recall if I heard him. I think it was Rolly Ronaldo that was calling it. But Al Bernstein, who was a very, very objective person, said, hey, look, no. Sorry to break it to you, but Gervonta Davis won that fight. Yeah, Lamont Roach put up a really good fight, but Lamont Roach was not dynamic. He did not do anything to really separate himself from Gervonta Davis. He just kept it equal. He just tried to keep it even the entire fight. And that's not enough, again, to take the belt from the champion. Now, I do want to say that the people that thought that Lamont Roach won, I don't have any problem with that. I really don't have a problem with it at all. I personally, again, had a point for Gervonta Davis, but I can see how those swing rounds really could go, depending on who's looking at it, really could go different ways, right?
The rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach has already turned into a major success, with 150,000 pay-per-view buys sold before fight night. This strong demand shows how important their rivalry has become and how much fans want a clear result. The first fight was intense and unpredictable, leaving many eager to see if Davis can regain control or if Roach will rise again. The numbers confirm what experts predicted. This rematch is more than just another fight. It is the main attraction, and both men have now secured their place as key figures in today's boxing scene.
Tank out here selling under 150,000 pay-per-views, you kidding me? Oh man, Face of Boxing, yeah, turn that shit off. Yeah, we shutting that shit down every single time. Does Shakur really want to fight Tank? I think Shakur could sell a bit more with somebody else, especially in Saudi. I feel like they can find him a dancing partner that'll do a little bit better than 150,000. Okay, I get it. This is why PBC delayed this fight for what, 5 months? Y'all ain't want to pay this motherfucker because y'all know he can't sell. I mean, this should have been evident. If you do the math, Tank has never been that great of a pay-per-view draw. He sold over 300K twice now in his career. He sold over 300K with Ryan Garcia. That's obvious. Ryan's the bigger star. And then he sold over 300 with Martin. He sold about 325. But when we put it in perspective, That Frank Martin fight was a comeback fight after a year layoff, so it was always going to sell. Every comeback fight's going to sell. It was one of the first pay-per-views on Amazon's new PBC deal, so they were really trying to push it. And then he had David Benavidez as the co-main event with Gary Russell and Alberto Puello under them. You take away all those factors that this wasn't a comeback fight. David Benavidez isn't the co-main event, and Amazon has now been in the game for over a year. It makes sense it only sold 150. I know there's going to be a couple of you guys in the comments, no, it sold 500K. Don't be so gullible. They didn't sell 500K. I don't know if Tank's a top, well, I know for a fact he's not a top 5 draw in the sport of boxing anymore. Well, he's not selling pay-per-views. Bivol better be up just triple him. Well, Jerry, their pay-per-views are cheaper. Don't matter. All that matters is who has more eyes watching him, and Bivol and Better BF do. Tank does not.
Instead of abandoning their original game plan, Davis's team has taken a sharper approach by making adjustments rather than starting from scratch. Reviewing footage from the first fight revealed flaws in timing and moments where his confidence dipped during the middle rounds. Using that insight, they fine-tuned details like attack angles and spacing to close the openings Roach had once exploited. The goal isn't to turn Davis into a different fighter, but to improve the one he already is by replacing hesitation with controlled aggression. These adjustments make Davis even more dangerous, keeping his solid foundation intact while making his execution cleaner and more precise.
He got a good chin. Oh, he got a good chin. If you got a good chin, okay, let's go ahead. Let's touch this. The chin ain't the only thing that can get you out of there. There's other things you can do and then go back to the chin. I won't go into details, but I look at shit different from a lot of people, man. You know what I'm saying? You got a fighter that listens, he's gonna be a hell of a fighter if he listens to what I tell him. You know, all fighters don't listen because some missions you put them on, you gotta walk through hell to get it done, and every fighter's not willing to walk through hell. You know what I mean? But the chin is not the only thing to get a fight out of it, and the body's not the only thing to get a fight out of it. It's other shit too, you know. I believe in hurting them. You can hurt. You gotta hurt them to get it started. You know.
PD, thank you for the $2. People were surprised by Roach and Tank. What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity, you know?
What many believed was a knockdown in the first fight may not have been a real sign of Davis's weakness. New reports suggest the slip was caused by an outside irritation, possibly from a grooming product that affected his vision. If true, this changes the narrative completely, shifting what looked like a lapse in stamina or technique into an avoidable distraction. For fans, it reinforces the idea that Davis's skill and toughness were never in doubt. It also motivates his team to be extra cautious, making sure that small details like product residue never interfere with performance in such a high-stakes setting.
Everybody really think Tank go take the L. I've been seeing it. They say it's over. They think that this time Lamont go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident because you gonna go up against a different Tank. Like I told y'all in previous videos, he go in there confident, thinking he could walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he get you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin? So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you going against like somebody that, like Ryan Garcia, somebody that's gonna fold. You going against Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think that confidence is what's going to get Lamont dropped. Because one thing I will say, with Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. I feel like you was in your head too much. You was overconfident. And you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont. This from the same camp. We from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up. Because you got to think, Tank not used to losing. He not used to people being against him. He not used to being the one that...
Former world champion Mikey Garcia gave his take on Davis's chances in the rematch. While he acknowledged Davis's natural talent and ability to adjust, he also added a word of caution. skill alone won't be enough to win. Garcia emphasized that mental discipline will be the deciding factor. Distractions outside the ring, from public attention to personal pressure, must be shut out. He believes Davis has everything it takes to succeed, but only if his mindset stays aligned with his physical abilities. In the end, this fight is not just about technique, but also about mental strength, a complete test that demands total focus.
Before I let you go, because I know you got a lot of shit to do. Lamont Roach versus Gervonta, the rematch. It looks like it's gonna happen. Hopefully, I'd like to see it.
I think Tank wins in the rematch.
Why?
I think he'll make the right adjustments, and he won't take too long to fight. He kind of gave a lot of the round away sometimes. I think he'll be more active and then he'll win. But big props to Roach for his last fight and performance. Fuck, surprised everybody.
Right.
I think he was robbed from the victory. Again, that knockdown should have been a knockdown.
Right.
But whatever, he gets a rematch, and maybe they get a third fight, after that. Who knows? Maybe
it turns to Marcus Pacquiao.
Maybe it turns out to be another great fucking matchup, and they say, let's run it back.
Right.
And maybe that controversy from the first fight actually helps Roach fucking get 3 fights out of it instead of just the one, or you never know. So hey, things happen for a reason, and I think he did really well in his first one.
After the first fight with Roach, social media was buzzing with talk that Davis might walk away from boxing. But instead of stepping back, he responded with action by heading straight back to camp. He didn't allow the rumors to gain momentum. Choosing to lock in a rematch so quickly revealed his true character. He isn't running from the past, he's confronting it directly. This mindset has shifted the entire narrative. Davis isn't fading into doubt. He's taking control of his story with focus and determination.
I just want to know, when is the rematch going to happen at this point? Because I'm not going to lie, for it to be a whole month later and y'all still arguing over who actually won, it's just really like, okay, yeah, run it back, because we got to go ahead and settle this, squabble this up. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say neither fighter in here is shitty, okay? Because after the fight I seen on March 1st, yeah, they both was tagging shit. Both getting up with each other, okay? I feel like this is the perfect match. If anybody's gonna do a rematch, you need to be down, period. And Gervonta was stinging him. I'm not gonna lie, he was stinging him. Great fight for him. But I'm not gonna lie, he came out knowing what he was trying to do. Y'all have to give it to him. Like, y'all just be hating, okay? Y'all can't get in the ring and fucking fight. Y'all just be hating. At least I'm giving them those day props, okay? Because Gervonta had a great fight. Don't get me wrong. My money was on him. But I think what messed him up was the fact that when he came out, y'all know he usually be 2 steps ahead. He was 3 steps ahead. I feel like he already had Tank figured out. And he definitely was not expecting that. And him, on the other hand, I think he came in really having something to prove. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Like, it was a really good fight, and I feel like this is how I see it. In the beginning of the fight, he was stinking, back to back, you know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the fight, that's when he finally kicked it up. But I seen consistency through him through the whole fight. Not gonna lie, like, so I just feel like the rematch should happen, because never know. He might, now that he was 3 steps ahead, become 8 steps ahead, and he might really knock his butt down. But at the end of the day, it's like, we need this rematch, because I don't think this is ever going to be a dispute that is settled and, officially he won, he lost until they fight. Like, we got to see it.
Boxing veteran and analyst Teddy Atlas recently broke down Davis's skill set. While most people focus on his knockout power and big finishes, Atlas highlighted the less obvious but equally important qualities: his control of distance, his rhythm, and his composure under pressure. He explained that what truly separates Davis is his ability to think clearly in the ring. He doesn't rush or react without reason. Instead, he carefully measures every move. When the pressure builds, he stays calm and relies on precise timing and control. These mental strengths make Davis not only powerful, but especially dangerous in the most critical moments.
He's going to try to get to us, but we're going to frustrate him. He doesn't get frustrated. He takes his time. He's deliberate. A lot of times at the beginning, people thought he was just a seek and destroy missile. They thought he was just a guy that got to you. And they thought that he would get over anxious. He don't get over anxious. He takes his time. He slowly crosses, closes those gaps, inch by inch, step by step, and then he gets to you.
Sports analyst Stephen A. Smith also shared his thoughts, pointing out the physical gap between the two fighters. While Roach brings sharp technique and strong ring IQ, Smith argued that Davis's size, strength, and body control could be overwhelming if the fight gets rough and close on the inside. Davis's physical presence might neutralize Roach's skill set, proving that some fights are decided not only by precision, but also by power, pressure, and sheer dominance.
And lastly, Stephen, a last name I, of course, want to throw your way is Gervonta Davis. I know you believe in his skills.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What do you think of his fight with Roach? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think Roach is too small. I think Roach is too small. And that's my issue. I'm not questioning the skill set or anything like that. But it was similar to Frank Martin. You know what I mean? This guy comes in there and you got 18 fights. And I remember watching that pre-fight press conference when he was annoying Gervonta Davis so much and he cussed by accident. Excuse me. He cussed by accident. He was like, ooh, you know, making this up. He hurt me in sparring and, you know, and I knew Gervonta was going to come for him. And sure enough, that's what he did. Walked right towards him from round one on. But, you know, I remember what he said and it really, really struck me. Gervonta's a smart dude, bro. And he said you really should have waited. You don't have enough experience. You really should have waited and took your time before you came to me. And that's what Gervonta Davis told him. And he was right.
In his latest camp, Davis is training with extra fire. For him, the rematch is more than payback. It's a chance to reestablish his place in boxing. He's turning every criticism and doubt into motivation, pushing harder in strength, speed, and stamina. Each workout and sparring round is done with full intensity. The goal isn't just to win, but to dominate, proving that the slip in the first fight was a one-off, not a decline. Davis is preparing like a man with a point to prove, and that makes him more dangerous than ever.
Like, got to step back from the situation. That's why I think he's being hushed right now, because when he come this time, it ain't no talking. And that's why I think it's scary, because we never see Tank in that mode where he don't say a word. I think this gonna be a different Tank. And what's crazy is Tank used to be like that in the beginning. Like when he was with Floyd, like when I'm talking about Tank with the fade, with the waves, bro. He ain't used to be on that showboat and stuff until he got, like, you know, a little bit more in the boxing, you know, thing. Of course, once you with Floyd, you're gonna start being flashy and doing backflips off the ring. But in his beginning stages, dude wasn't playing. He was dropping I think that's what he about to go to, bro. And we know that people like, man, did he take Calvin off his team? Nah, like he said, Calvin, his boy. I think he just rocking with somebody else right now to get him some sharper skills, you know, to change up his skill and what people know him by. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I think Tank go take it to Lamont. And that's not me being biased. I think we ain't ever seen Tank like this before.
To elevate his training, Davis has brought in Kenny Ellis, a coach known for discipline and tactical sharpness. Ellis leaves no room for complacency. Every drill has purpose, and every mistake is corrected immediately. His sessions are intense, designed to expose and eliminate weaknesses before opponents can capitalize. Under his guidance, Davis is sharpening key details like footwork, guard transitions, and counter timing. This camp is about more than conditioning. It's about strategic preparation. With Ellis in his corner on fight night, Davis won't just have support. He'll have real-time adjustments delivered with precision.
He's one of the best trainers in boxing, second guy in the corner. Is responsible for a lot of the real tactical decisions and tactical analysis that goes on in Gervonta Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents. So to have him talk about what's going on with Lamont Roach, I thought was interesting and insightful, because what he said was that, one, he's not falling for the okie doke. When Mill City asked him, hey, what do you think about the fact that, you know, that Lamont Roach was seen at a basketball game chugging a beer? And I would have added to the question that you see Lamont Roach out giving a bunch of interviews, doing the interview circuit, right? Kind of being a little bit out of character leading into the rematch. Do you think, and this is what Mill City asked, do you think that is something you guys are taking in consideration in preparation for the fight? And what Kenny Ellis said was, look, man, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We know what Lamont Roach brings to the table. And he says that Lamont Roach is, we're not believing that he's out there drinking or blowing up a bunch of weight and all of that. You know, he says what most people say, hey, we're going to prepare for the best version of Lamont Roach that is going to, that'll come for us. But the way that he saw the fight coming out was he said he sees it like the fight before, a lot of really crisp shots landing.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned.